was introduced several years ago to the owner of Grouse Mountain, Stuart McLaughlin, and introduced the concept to him of establishing a wildlife refuge on a mountain on an existing ski resort. And he was very receptive to it, and we explored it, and before we knew it, all of a sudden we were the recipients of 2 orphan grizzly bears.
The primary focus of the research we're doing at the Refuge for Endangered Wildlife is directed towards learning what orphan grizzly bears need to survive without their mothers to guide them.
What we tried to do was we tried to come up with a way that we could enclose a large area on a mountain setting that allows the grizzly bears to live about as natural as possible. And so what we've done is we found 5 acres on Grouse Mountain that really is the best habitat we could find. So now we've been able to take economically a low-cost fence and enclose wide areas. So by giving them a huge area, we've been able to have these bears grow up as wild and as natural as possible.
So we've been watching Grinder and Kula ever since they came here and keeping track of really what activities they partake in, what they know instinctively, and what the mother must show them. So they know instinctively what foods to gather, what sort of is safe to eat, not safe to eat, but at the same time they didn't know how to make a hibernation bed, for example, so that's something the mother has to show them. And in the first year they had no clue, we had to build a bed for them, but they learned as they went along.
We came up with the idea that, you know, we really should be able to watch these guys remotely through a camera system. And subsequently we made contact with Honeywell, and they came and said, yes, we can do that, we'd like to do that.
We got involved, I guess, probably 6 or 7 years ago with this particular project. And I remember when we first come up here looking at the site and going, are you kidding me? Like, do you want a camera where and side of what? But once you got used to it, the challenge was nice.
An interesting thing that we've learned, and we anticipated this was going to be some of the challenges, is we've learned that it's very difficult to put in technology that is grizzly bear tough.
Being they needed a tough camera. Obviously, if you're putting some in with grizzly bears, there's potential for bad things to happen. Honeywell had the V27 cameras, the SWX45s, the real armored cameras that could withstand that.
And over the several years now, we've been able to watch hibernation, which you wouldn't imagine is all that exciting, seeing bears sleep. But we've been able to learn quite a bit, and we found out, you know, they really don't sleep through the whole winter.
The grizzly bears pretty much every day are getting up and moving around during hibernation in a bit of a sleepwalk state, but they're stretching, they're remaking the bed. At least several times a week they get up and they actually exit the den, roam around, and come back in. And all of these activities keep their muscles and bones strong, so when they come out in the spring they don't have to do any grizzly physio to get ready to go again. They've already kept that up over the winter time. Also to be able to record these behaviors on the technology so that we can analyze it later and sort of prove to the world that this is the case of what's happening here. It's not just what we say, we have the documented evidence for it.
I felt great about the videos and being able to monitor the bears as soon as I found out about it, not only in terms of hibernation and the denning behaviors, but also, again, if we can share that with students. It helps out the teachers in terms of our education program because they can work with the post and pre-activities better. They can prepare their students when they're coming up here, and they can also follow up when they go back home.
Of course, we've had our education program starting to get involved with it. We're hoping that in the future we can take these feeds and show them to school groups that come in. We can bring them onto the web, and then they can go right into the classroom. So this technology will go beyond sort of our little group here who are monitoring and watching the bears, and we can bring it to a wider audience.
You know, come up and view footage after the fact and be able to see the bears walking around when everybody thought they'd be sleeping all through the winter. It was amazing, and to know that you had a part of that, yeah, it really makes you feel good.
I've been very impressed by the performance of the products that we were using. The Honeywell cameras and DVRs have withstood some of the harshest conditions we've had here on the mountains in recent years, and it's really a rugged environment that it's had to withstand.
There's an opportunity to interact and see a grizzly bear doing what he does, whether you're there or not, and I think that's really a special thing.